Wait. All right. Now.
How did y'all do that? How did you do that? Like, can I do that?
No.
Maybe not on your phone.
No, I'm on an iPad. I'm on an iPad.
Maybe.
No.
No?
Okay.
All right, everybody. We are here on the island of Boracay. All four of us are there. And we have this amazing group of guests for our episode 1 Ultimate Globe Trotter Rewind. We've got David Picon, Tim Morrill, and Mai Dublin. Thank you all so much for being here.
Thank you also for inviting.
So I'll give a little bit of background into everybody, but we all kind of really connected on the beautiful island of Boracay when filming episode 1 of Ultimate Globetrotter in 2014. And so one thing I'd like to do before we start watching the episode and doing some reflecting is kind of leading up to the moment before the episode took place and setting the stage for where everyone was. So why don't we start with Mai, before episode 1 started, before you met any of us, when you heard that maybe an episode was going to be filmed, what was, where were you in 2014 at that point in your life, and what was, Ultimate was a big part of your life at that point already, but yeah, where were you, if you could remember, before you met any of us?
I mean, I was in my probably on peak because I was on my young age, like I was 20s. So I am very aggressive on every tournaments or every training that I had. Then I have little no idea who are you guys before. Yeah. So just Karen told me that, oh, they're already here. Who's that? If you remember that we're in the swimming pool, then you guys were going to check in, and then I'm asking, who's that? Where are they from? So then Karen told me that you're going to film everything about the Dragons, and Coach Tim will going to coach us before going to Worlds in Dubai. So, and in my mind, I was very excited. So in my dreams again, then I want um to introduce Boracay also to the world, and I was thankful that you're here and the Globetrotter to introduce dragons in the world. So yeah.
That's awesome. Not to toot the horn of the production we ended up putting together, but a lot of folks have told me that they decided to go to Boracay and learn about the dragons after seeing the episode that we all created together. And that's so wonderful to just hear that that's something that you were excited about, to like share Boracay with more of the Ultimate community. I mean, we're lucky to have Boracay in the Ultimate community, and the Dragons and everyone involved in the Boracay and the Philippines, and it was such a treat to be able to share that as well. So Tim, you and I knew each other a little bit before going to Boracay. So what was our background and our connection before we were competing together there?
So I actually came out to Seattle in 2012 after I launched my first book, The Foundation, and I was staying at a friend's house close to you, where you lived in Seattle, and my friend Seth Wiggins, who is I know you've been coached by Ben Wiggins. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he's one of the most legendary coaches in all of Ultimate. His brother is also a legendary player. And Seth had heard that I released this book, and Seth wanted to retire from Ultimate and write down everything he's ever learned and give it out to the Ultimate community. So he invited me to have a chat to learn about how I wrote this first book. And throughout this conversation, at the end of it, he said, you know, there's a place in the Philippines where they play beach ultimate full time. And I'm like, no, like, say that again. He's like, yeah, they play full time. And I'm like, full time? You mean they're playing he's like, dude, they wake up, they play beach ultimate, they eat food, they recover, and then they play beach ultimate the next day. And I'm like, you're full of shit. And he's like, no, like, look at a map. And he shows me this map, and he shows me Boracay. And I'm like, wow. And I want to say that, like, that was the trip. Like, I was out there. I did a Brody Smith clinic with Mario O'Brien, and that was 2012. Then 2013 was when AJ and I got started on the Humiliswag Jam. And why don't you remind me, where did we first kind of fill in during this saga?
Well, even before all that, you and I had exchanged a bunch of emails, like,
because you are the editor of Skyd Magazine.
Yeah, and you were writing for Skyd Magazine's training blog, and further, I know that I interviewed you at least once for a podcast, and at some point we hung out in Boston because they were doing the UPCP. I forget what it even stands for. Like this there was a
Ultimate Coaches and Players Conference by Tina Booth.
Yeah.
Yep.
There was a convention out in Boston, and I remember we hung out. It was you, me, Mario, Brody,
And Chuck. And
Chuck. And we would so in addition to, and I forget what year this even was. This is forever ago.
2013.
Was this 2013? So this is after you came and visited in Seattle. So this conference was all going on, and then we went to, Brody was doing a clinic with some kids, so we showed up to that clinic and we helped out, and that was really fun. And then one night we were just hanging out together, that group of us, and we were trying to find like the perfect donut or something. So we would drive around from Dunkin' Donuts to Dunkin' Donuts because Brody had this idea of this perfect donut that he wanted. And we couldn't find the right donut at all these different shops. So eventually we found the right donut, but we stopped at a bunch of Dunkin' Donuts. We stopped at ice cream shop as well. Wasn't Jonathan Neely with us too?
I don't know if Neely helped us coach on that at that Brody Smith clinic. And that was the first time that I met Rowan McDonald. Rowan McDonald came up to me at the end of that workshop and said, hey, I want to make Boston Ironside. And I remember thinking, because he was a little, he wasn't a big athlete. He looked like kind of a skateboarder, not to be, judgmental or stereotypical, but he looked kind of like he wasn't cut out for elite athletics. And I never forget that, because that was the time that I met Rowan, and he told me he wanted to make Boston Ironside, and now he's gone on to do what he's done. And that's one of the cool things about thinking about, like, what has Neely done since then? What have you done since then? What has Brody done since then? And that was my first 2 years in Boston. You came out, I remember we went up to Haverhill, which was way north of the city, and that's where I was staying, and y'all came up and visited up in Haverhill, and we had a good old time. That was a fun little trip.
Yeah. So you had come to Seattle, you heard about Boracay, and then you were doing a big tour. And when did you hear about that you were going to end up meeting up with Picon and I, or that it was everyone was all going to meet in this nexus in Boracay? When did you hear about that, and what were your thoughts?
Rabadidog was like a dog that AJ had, and this dog was really good at catching frisbees. And so AJ and I decided to go back to Beach Patrol so we could spend more time with Rabadidog. And what was cool about Beach Patrol in 2013 was pretty much we got paid to train for beach ultimate. Essentially, like, we would lifeguard the beach. We did a really nice job. We made a lot of rescues, but like during all of our downtime, all we did was train for beach ultimate. So we decided, we heard USA Ultimate was thinking, hey, we're gonna have a USA Ultimate Beach division, and like we heard that was gonna happen. This was 2013, so I left Boston and went down there, and AJ and I teamed up, and then essentially we, MP is my business, More Performance, and the whole mission of the business is to empower the Global Ultimate community through inspiration and education. The education's around functional performance training, which is something the ultimate community really needs. So we had this big kind of in 2012, 2013, 2014, just countries all around the world were like, come train us. And so it's like, you got to come to here, there, blah, blah. I was very interested in coming out here. So AJ and I kind of teamed up, and he was an employee, and he came on the Singapore tour, and we essentially did Singapore, and then we went to Australia, and then we heard from Karen Cabrera in the Philippines. She heard that we were doing this tour, and she said, hey, do you want to come here after the tour? So we said yes, but I was a little bit intimidated, because I'm like, wow, these are the best beach ultimate players in the world. They play full time. And when, Elliot, you haven't been on a coaching tour with me, Mai Dublin, I don't think y'all have either. But like, if you go on a coaching tour with me, it's exhausting, because it's like the job of a coach is to give everything that you have. So when you give everything you have to your athletes and to teaching, there's not a lot left to go compete with the Boracay Dragons. So I warmed up the tour. I made the tour work that we went and coached for 2 weeks. And then AJ and I went to a cool little training destination that I've been to a couple times since then, place called Bali, Indonesia. And we went to Bali, Indonesia, and spent a week. And I had AJ, I was like, okay, I've been coaching, leading this whole thing. I just want to shut down, eat good food, sleep, and have you train me. And AJ is such a mind for ultimate. And he ran all the drills, and for a week, he just trained me to be able to come to Boracay, and train himself, of course. But that was the prereq. We were in a place called Canggu, Indonesia. And then we got to the Philippines. And as soon as we showed up, that's when we met you and Big Papa Picon and Mai, the legend.
So you didn't know necessarily that a whole production was not that we had like trailers and all this stuff going on there, but you didn't know that a whole production was taking place, or was that something that was rumored, or what was your awareness about producing the series?
I mean, everything that I'd heard about Elliot Trotter and everything that I'd experienced, you were always doing what I think the community needs, and that's storytelling and providing resources. It's such an important thing that the ultimate community needs, that you were very dedicated to. So when I heard Elliot was going to be there, it was kind of like, oh, cool. Maybe there was something else. But then I was thinking, well, maybe he's just coming to enjoy himself, like a lot of people do when they come here and they cut loose, and I don't care about my phone. So there was no, I didn't have any idea that there was going to be a production. We just showed up, and I remember checking into Casa Pilar and showing up into that room, and I'm like, this is real deal. I mean, y'all had some serious production equipment, and y'all, went forward in executing one of the coolest productions ever in Ultimate.
Thanks. Well, that brings us to a principal reason why that production was successful, and that is me. No, it's David Picon.
I knew it was coming. I knew it.
David and I have kind of talked about the story a couple times, but it needs to be said once more, which is the story of how we became connected, and David became the principal photographer of the series. And it starts at Windmill in Amsterdam, and David was, well, I don't know, David, maybe you could tell the story of how you became our principal photographer.
Yeah, it started at Windmill. You're right about that. Well, our connection started at Windmill. So I got there to shoot like a little trailer or promotional video for Windmill Wind Up Tournament. That's what it was called back then. I think it was summer 2013. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. I came down with my little camera and we started like shooting stuff. You were there and you had like a bus military cut with a star like shape into your skull and had like a cowboy leather, with little thingies hanging out. They were like very, very weird to me. Just meeting you was like, this dude is crazy. I already knew. I don't even remember how the meeting took place, but yeah, I remember like we just started talking like and creating shots. Like, yeah, let's do this, let's do that, and ideas flowing. I think it was a very creative friendship since the start. And
Yeah. And
after Windmill took place, I think we.
well, hold up. Don't go
Yeah.
that far just yet.
I want to end Windmill. I don't want to talk about everything that happened there.
We have
I
to
don't
talk
remember.
about what happened because first of all, I didn't really, prior to Windmill, I didn't really know you. And my colleague Liam Rosen with Sky was like, he had lived in Barcelona with you.
Yeah, we were training on the same team.
Yeah, and he's like, okay, this Picon guy, he can handle it because we needed someone to produce these promotional pieces and to capture a lot of the story and the lifestyle of Windmill. Because Sky had been contracted to produce some footage with Windmill and cover the event. I think that was the second year in a row that we were covering the event. That was 2013, right? And we had done it previously in 2012, and Windmill in itself is an amazing event, and we needed a crew. And yeah, Liam was like, oh yeah, this guy Picon, he can handle this stuff. And I was like, all right, sure, sounds great. And you definitely did handle this stuff. But the thing that I found so remarkable about Picon was, and the last time we talked about this story, like you added some new pieces to it that I wasn't aware of. But when I was starting to think about Ultimate Globetrotter and the criteria for what I needed in someone that could produce the series with me, something that was a confirmation for me was that Windmill has its competitive component and its party component, and Picon was soaking up the party component. And he was like having a blast and staying up late. And I wasn't aware that he was actually sleeping, unless some folks told me that he would sleep a little bit as well. But the fact that Picon could like just have a blast and still film everything that he could and produce these amazing pieces, I knew that Picon would be the right guy, like who would just like get the things done and still have fun. And I remember Liam told me there was, well, why don't you tell me this, like tell them that.
I think what you're referring to is the time when I was shooting up till late. We had like a bonfire. Like, Windmill is such a fun event. I mean, there's people there to compete like at a really high level, and you get teams like Clapham coming in and competing really high, or Bad Skid and that year we had Chinia Rada, the roster made from coaches out of Rise Up, and there was a lot of competition, but there's also like there's a lot of activities. There's a lot of like bands playing, comedy shows, like amusement park machines. There's a bull that you can ride on. I mean, they really go out there to have like fun stuff to do. So like if you go there to have fun, I mean, you're definitely gonna have it. You don't even have to play Ultimate all day. You could just like hang out and drink beer and have fries and just crack jokes all night and party. And I did a little bit of that, just a little bit. I was shooting a lot. I was being very professional. And one of those times, I think I stayed up till 4. We were having a bonfire, just having fun. And then I was looking for, I think it was the first night probably, I was looking for a place to sleep. I was like, where do I sleep now? I didn't have tents. I never asked Elliot if I had a room. I was just like filming stuff, and like night came, and I just like, when it was time to sleep, I was like, so what am I going to do now? And I found a couch just laying in the middle of nowhere, like in the middle of the whole event. There was a few couches from 5 that they laid out there just for people to sit in while they're shopping or something. And I just like, I'm gonna sleep here, out in the open, pretty cold. My camera hugging me, and I was just sleeping for like 2 hours, and suddenly Liam tells me, "Hey, there's something going on. There's like a choir, and they're gonna wake the players up." And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go. So I just like, I go there half awake, and I just start shooting that. And yeah, that made it into the video as well. I mean, it was really good that Liam woke me, and it was good that I was already ready with my camera and all dressed up, that I could go on a second's notice.
Yeah, I had no idea that you were sleeping on couches for the entire tournament, because
like, just one couch.
Yeah, no one, the one couch. No one told me that. Like, I just assumed that you were taken care of and or had a sleeping bag.
No one
or
took
something.
care of me. No one took care of me.
No one told me. I had no idea. Well, we will have continued to not take care of you throughout the series, it seems, as we'll get into in other episodes. But we got really lucky with Picon, and it started this awesome friendship because hello, Kitty.
Oh, nice.
What I'll just say before we start watching the episode is that Picon was someone that, aside from just filming, made the series possible from a just like emotional standpoint as well. Because, we were traveling, the first bit of episodes was a 2-month stint. And then we went and filmed for another month. And, there are bumps along the way that aren't reflected in the episodes. And Picon was always there to stay positive and pick me up when I was down, and just like keep things rolling. 'Cause it just honestly, like with anyone else and without Picon, it wouldn't have been possible. And I'm incredibly grateful to Picon for just being there and being a part of something that's been really important to me, and something I'm really proud of. So,
well, even in 2018, 2018, we went and did Barcelona, and after that, he hosted us, and that was like a hard time, getting out of the US, saying we're going to win a beach national championship. We need to go warm up here. It's not easy to just leave the US and do these things. And at that time, I was going through a very intense business, just movement of my business. And it was very hard on me mentally. And after that whole series, Picon and Andrea, welcomed me and let me stay there and figure my shit out. Without you and Andrea, Picon, I would have been such a mess. Y'all had a gym in the backyard. Y'all were letting me use the kitchen, the whole Perrette de Ville, y'all were just there for me. And I think I had to leave my big Patagonia bag, half my shit is still
here,
under
man.
your bed.
No, it's right here. I have it in my closet. Let's open it up. Let's see what's hidden here.
It's probably a bunch of B Ultimate stuff. There's some good stuff in there. What do we got?
We have
it's the unboxing.
Oh, the
And can we
fight
do
ball
this, Eric?
hat.
Can we do
Okay.
this right now? It's an unpacking.
Yeah, let's.
Yeah, as
Uh,
long as there's nothing crazy. I don't know what I would have. Oh, some good
There's a
books.
book
Essentialism.
crushing it. I want to read
Crushing
this.
it. Oh, my Gary Vaynerchuk book. Oh, I missed that book.
There's like 4 or 5 books in here.
Yeah, I mean that's a classic bag. That's like a
lot of
$300
nice
bag
clothes.
too.
Dude, I'm gonna wash these clothes.
Yeah, well, if
So you
there's clothes
find-
there, I mean, I hope maybe you could get some Humilswag clothes or something that makes you donkey buck. Oh, the Pedro Vargas, the Algarve
You see it?
jersey. Elliot, we won that tournament, dude.
We did. That's
All
another
right,
episode.
I'm gonna
Tim.
put this away.
You can't get into that yet. That's another episode.
Okay, we're still 4 years out. Sorry.
So let's.
Well, Picon, thanks for hanging on to that, and y'all really
Yeah.
saved me during that time. So thank you.
It's in the closet. You'll find it next time you come.
Okay,
If
can't
you
wait
ever
to
get out
come.
of the Philippines or
I do. I'm a little
Yeah, we'll go
island
there.
fever, but it's good.
So before we start watching the episode, anything else that we need to do or say to set the stage for episode 1? I'll just, I did want to ask you, Picon, before we start. So this idea of Ultimate Globetrotter was, we got Mai's impressions about it, and Tim's impressions about it. There was a lot of like, okay, this sounds like a cool thing, but we don't know what's going to happen. And, Picon, I'm not sure what your impression was of me or Skyed or anything at that point, but you get this proposal to film and travel for a couple months. And, I'm not sure what proposal you saw at first, but like,
yeah.
this is this opportunity and this idea to go film and be involved with a bunch of Ultimate. And I remember I'm pretty sure, I don't remember reaching out to anyone else, but I remember you being the first one that I reached out to about doing this. And I'm just curious what your thoughts were on being a part of this. Like, did it seem like a crazy idea? Did it seem like unrealistic? Were you like, all right, I have to hang out with this guy for a couple months? What was your impression?
I don't think I ever like have those kind of thoughts about something being unrealistic. I mean, I tried to approach anything, like any project, with a positive attitude. And I think when you told me about it, I just said, okay, this sounds really fun, and it sounds like we're just gonna go like film Ultimate and be around Ultimate all day, and it seemed like a good thing to do. It seemed like a like a dream. I would dream about just working in Ultimate, like from city to city, country to country, and just getting to know new cultures. I mean, it seemed perfect, and to me at the time, it seemed perfect thing to do. And I didn't have, I was just like getting here in Barcelona. I didn't have like a very steady job or anything to tie me down yet. So I was just like, fuck it, like, I'm gonna get out of here. And yeah, I remember it was very, like, from the start, it was very, very fun. I mean, because we started with the Dragons, right? And they were like very fun and hospitable, and they were always treating us very good, and feeding us and making sure we were like having fun and sleeping and playing, and it was just, I don't know, it was perfect. So yeah, from the start, it's been like, hell yeah, this is it.
And Boracay wasn't necessarily, so you had some preferences about like what.
Oh yeah, I wanted to go to Japan first, because you were telling me we were exchanging emails, and you were like, we're gonna either start in the Philippines or Japan, and I'm like, oh, Japan, man, we have to go to Japan. I mean, I was just imagining cherry blossom trees and samurai swords, and the visual aesthetic of Japan is much more appealing to to what I knew about the Philippines, because I was ignorant about what was going on in the Philippines. But in the end, I think the choice that was made was right, because it was, I mean, it was the start of something beautiful. We've had, this enduring connections with the team, with the Dragons. I mean, every time I go to like a Worlds event, I'm seeing them there, and I'm just like having fun with them all over again. It feels like family already. And Tim now is in the Philippines, and he's like stuck there for a year now, and he seems like he's doing all right. So I mean, I think it was the right choice, and I think we'll do Japan someday. It'll be a nice ending, but it was the right choice to like go to the Philippines first.
All right, so let's get into it. Use your thumb.
I'm gonna do this the whole time, Elliot, the whole time, and I'm gonna make the noise. I'm gonna sound like a snake.
Okay.
All day. Come on. Start the episode.
I'm traveling to play with
Playback
amazing
okay?
ultimate teams.
Playback's looking okay.
Yep.
Oh my god, this guy is so sexy. Where did he come from?
Championships and the world's best tournaments. This is Ultimate Globe Trotter.
Ryan. Duet.
I think there were some scenes in that opening that we didn't end up using from different parts of the first 3 episodes, but I got lucky with finding a really fun song. This artist, Brendan McLean, from Australia, who said I could use his song there, and I love that it's become this anthem for the series. Oh, there we go.
For the first stop on our journey, we head to Boracay Island in the Philippines. After trips by plane, bus, and boat, we arrived at the beautiful white beaches of Boracay. Hello and welcome to episode 1 of Ultimate Globe Trotter. We're here on Boracay Island in the Philippines, home of the Beach Ultimate Kings of Asia, the fierce and speedy Boracay Dragons. Boracay itself is gorgeous and unique. The spanning white beach is the most popular part of the island, speckled with restaurants, resorts, bars, and beautiful scenery.
We were a big fan of those, the chefs.
I love them.
How, I'm curious how much the island has changed even before COVID. The island was closed for a while, and after that, are things just like, prior to COVID, are things just like a lot quieter there, or what's it like there now?
Yes, it's a lot quieter than before, and especially the establishments. You can see any establishments that is open, and even on the beach, the local people, you can even see them playing or swimming in the beach, because there's a lot of rules that you can just go outside or just swim outside. So it's really different from before.
Yeah. Are the dancing chefs still there?
No, they're not here. There's a lot of employees are not here anymore. Not like
That's
before.
sad.
Yeah.
Okay. Tim, what are your impressions too now, being there now? Of course, it's like a very different situation, but does the island look much different?
Well, I mean, in all transparency, I was really concerned in 2017 because I had come back for the 2017 training cycle. And they had to close the island because I was living in Manang, which is down south, closer to Cataclan. And in order for me to get to practice at Seawind, I would be sitting in traffic for like 30, 40 minutes of like, it was just so populated. There's just so many people. And I think what they had allowed is they allowed too many establishments to come in and build during too short of a period of time. And I think a lot of the establishments kind of cut corners. So like, rather than running pipes out to Balabo where the, you know, this, whatever the sewage or the drainage should go, they would run it out here, or just a lot of infractions on what an infrastructure of a sustainable island should look like. So they've really come in and cracked down to the point that like just a couple days ago, everybody in Mount Luho, I mean, I don't know what they're doing, but like, they're just saying like, this is all protected, you know, wetland, and you have to move every establishment out of here, gone. And they're just removing, you know, a lot of establishments and a lot of businesses are just having to close and downsize. And it's just kind of the opposite of what we had before. Is that accurate, Mai?
Yeah. Even in Bulabog, you know, the kite shops there, the restaurants, everything's gone.
Yeah, I mean
not
just
totally gone.
Not totally, but just to give you an example, like Hey Jude's, like our friend Christopher Jude Lee has a hotel called Hey Jude, you know, South Beach. And when I got here, I was staying there. I was staying on the top floor because he gave me a top floor room, and I'd go out and I'd make my videos, do my client stuff on the front beach, like boom. And then he's like, hey, we gotta, you know, shut down the rooms. We're just gonna have restaurant open. And then the restaurant was open for 3 weeks, and then they closed the restaurant, and then they lay off everybody. And then the thing's completely closed, and then they're talking about selling it. And then like just in the past like 2 months, it's like, oh, okay, there's hope. And now just this past, you know, Jude's not going to sell that anymore, but there's also like, they've reopened the island for tourists literally in the past week. So I was out training, doing my aerobic power intervals today, way down at Seawind, and it just looked like old Boracay. Like I haven't seen it like this since 2017, just like a lot of people.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people who they've gone out of business and their whole thing is shut down, you know? So it's like, it went through a really big low, and now they're starting to let people in again. So it's starting to look like old Boracay a little bit.
Yeah. Well, let's take a look at more old Boracay in this video.
Opposite of White Beach is Bulabog Beach, a less inhabited but popular spot for wind and kite surfers. In between is a mix of shack or building homes, convenience shops, chicken coops, dirt roads, and often the unexpected. Home for our stay and the adopted home of the Dragons is Casa Pilar, a resort owned by James, one of the team's founding members. Casa Pilar is beautifully situated on White Beach, right in front of the very fields that the Dragons practice on. Tourists pack the paths of White Beach, where offers of massages, cheap sunglasses, and adventure tours are ever present. For the Dragons, when it comes to training season, they're all business. Founded in 2002, the Boracay Dragons are Asia's premier beach team. A rarity in competitive ultimate, the beach is their home turf, and what they train for.
The team started in 2002. There was a tournament, the first Boracay Open.
So we invited teams around Asia.
Okay, I have to make a point here because this is Wendell's incorrect last name. And so Wendell Sabuyan is the correct name. And
Yes.
I think the way that this happened was I would Facebook people's names just to check spelling before I had like a system to like get people's names right. And I think I just like typed Wendell's name really in, and I wasn't Facebook friends with him, but I saw that this Wendell Go is an ultimate player who had some ultimate player connections. So I just assumed that like, okay, he's the only Wendell I know, and he's got ultimate connections. This must be the right Wendell. And it's at the point where like editing one of these episodes together drives you just mad because it's just tons and tons and tons. And titling's usually one of the last things that you do, at least the last things that I do. So at this point, I've like lost my mind. So it's just like, oh yeah, this is obviously the right name. And I messed up. So there's definitely an error in every episode that I deeply regret. And this is the one for this episode. So,
well, to be fair, Wendell is one of the hardest people in the world to get a hold of. He doesn't use anything other than like WhatsApp. And he's just this legendary DJ / ultimate coach that just is in his own world. I've seen him like 4 times since I've been here, and it's always at where I go train in front of Jude's. And the first time was like, he's like giving me this like really like Zen advice. He's like, didn't I tell you, like after COVID started, he's like, didn't I tell you where the best training grounds in the world would be, Tim? And I'm like, yes, you did, Wendell. And then he's like, it's time to write your book, Tim. And I'm like, okay, thank you, Wendell. And then I see him like 6 months later, and he's like going on, and we had a long, conversation about the difference between doing conditioning. He's just such a legend, but he's hard. A lot of people like that, you read the book Deep Work, and they talk about how a lot of the most creative people in the world don't even have social media. And, Wendell's one of those people that he's just a legend, and you're not going to find him on social.
Yeah. Also a Kali knife fighting instructor. So he's just all of these different facets to him.
Wendell's everything. He's hilarious.
2 questions for you, Mai. Hold on a second. Let me just.
And we were in need of 2 more teams.
Much better. I had to get the title off.
No, but get a better frame.
So my 2 questions. 1, how long were you with the Dragons before this tournament?
Sorry, what was that?
How long were you with the Boracay Dragons before this tournament? And the other question is, how long did you know Wendell? And have you known Wendell? And what stories can you share about Wendell as well?
I was started on the Dragons since 2004 or 2005.
Wow.
Then until 2008, I think. Then I switched to Boracay Ultimate for 2 years. Then go back to Boracay Dragons. Then we made this team another Boracay Pirates till now. Then what was the second question again?
The other
Sorry.
question is, do you have any Wendell stories?
A lot, but I can only tell that he's a good coach. Actually, I learned a lot from him, from what to do, from fundamentals, from how to teach the beginners, what's the basic of this, what's the basic of that, what you're going to do with this. And also his I learned from the inside the field and outside the field, how to apply everything, especially how to be confident in everything, and especially he's always kept telling me that one day you're going to teach also like me, so you need to learn this. So that's why he's keep telling me everything that he knows, especially in frisbee. So I can tell that he's a good coach.
Yeah, I mean, he if he has had anything to do with your skill set and abilities in Ultimate, he must be a good coach, because I remember we're about to see some of these training scenes, but I just remember from the start, like we could tell that Mai was one of the best players that we've ever seen on the beach. And like you were just, from the start, like we could tell that you were incredible, the way that you moved and understood the game. And like, throughout that couple weeks, I remember like seeing you make amazing catches, and just like it was so clear that you are a phenomenal player. And you've continued to get better and better. So it was really apparent at that point.
Thank you. But before that, and I mean, before you guys came, that Coach Tim was here in 2015. I even learned a lot from that, and I feel that I I gained more knowledge also in ultimate, plus the strength and agility, because before I just keep running. I didn't even know why I run here, I run there, why I'm using this. So thankfully you guys came, and then coach and your ideas, I gathered everything and I learned until now. So I'm thankful. I'm so grateful.
It's a mutual gratefulness. So let's keep watching.
That's where I approached James. So James Yap, he's like the team leader of Boracay Dragon. He asked his younger brother at the time who was doing Dragon Boat.
Dragon Boat is a rowing team. That's where they got the name Boracay Dragons, because most of the players that started joining are from the Dragon Boat team. The first year that they joined the tournament, they finished second. The following year, they started training and then started to know more about Ultimate.
An unexpected second-place finish at the 2007 World Beach Championships in Brazil propelled the Dragons to the forefront of the beach ultimate world.
We just played, no expectations, and then started winning and made it to the semis and beat the US in the semis, and then made it to the finals against Australia. The Filipinos are known for playing games with a big heart, the heart to win.
Most of the players are based here in the island. So I would say it's second nature to them to run on the beach.
Having since maintained their reputation as one of the fastest, most relentless teams on the beach, the Dragons now prepare for their next challenge, the 2015 World Beach Ultimate Championships in Dubai, where they are striving to win gold.
Come on, younger boy. You have to think that this is already the championship game, okay? Go, guys.
First, however, is the training of a new crop of Dragons, as they prepare to defend their home tournament, the Boracay Open, which they have not lost in 10 years.
We're running for the 11th championship this coming March 14, 15, and 16.
Boracay Open has always been the turf of the Dragons, but the way I see it is that other teams are really, really strong and they're catching up, and in fact, it will be tough.
Ultimate Globe Trotter.
These illustrations were like one of my favorite parts of the series. Mai is showcasing her awesome illustration.
Yes.
For the first few episodes, Marcha Chernova, who's from Belarus, created these, and they're works of art. Like I don't know. They just enhance what we created so much, and the whole like interlude concept actually came from anime, and this idea of like I wanted to create this really like I don't know, this really real feeling show that felt like it could be on a TV on a TV network or something like that. And these interludes were really fun to put together.
Prior to a tournament, and in this case, the Boracay Open, the Dragons dedicate themselves to training every single day.
The trainings are intense. We do a lot of circuit training, outside of the field training, water.
In taking part in a week of training, it's no surprise that they're one of the top beach teams in the world. The beach is their home and their domain.
The Dragons, I heard, played Ultimate all day, 2-3 times a day. That's all they did, like full-time job was Ultimate. And I was like, no, there's no way that life can exist. I've got to see this. And it's true.
We train ourselves
never to stop running, just basically keep on moving forward.
They attack it from all angles. They do sprints with low rest, and then they do kind of long Ironman circuits.
Interval, like sprint, jogs, swim, core workout.
This is the Dragon circuit. High knees in the water, swimming, sprinting on the beach. Do this after every single practice.
I gotta say, it's as exhausting as some of these workouts were, like, this is probably the best place to train in the world for beach ultimate and just in general. Like, Tim, what was your impression being this training lifestyle once you got there?
I mean, sunlight really unlocks a lot in the human body. So the sunlight was great, and the sweat, you know, you warm up a lot quicker. That's a big thing about training as an athlete in warm environments. You warm up a lot quicker. I love that Casa Pilar is right there, you know, because it was like, if we needed to use the restroom, if we needed cold water, if we were just really hurting and need a mango shake, like, it's all right there. But I remember it getting somewhat hard. Like, AJ and I were accustomed because we were beach patrol lifeguards. So like, we would have to train in the summer from like 9 to 11, and then we'd sit on the stand, and then that workout from like 1 to 2 would always be hard. And we would train pretty late into the Philippine sun here. So yeah, but then it's like you're worn out. Like, you just jump in the water, and there's something really refreshing about the water, you know. It just helps in solution you up, kind of decompress you. And I felt like it was a really good place to not only train, but also to recover.
Yeah. And what an amazing experience to be able to live that lifestyle and just like train constantly. It was so cool, and it felt great. Mai, so ultimate on the island is, you know, it's like, it's a thing. So I'm curious, like, you know, local kids who live on the island, they just play pickup games. Like, what is the impression of people? Hello. What is the impression of folks about ultimate on the island? Like, people that are seeing y'all train, people that are seeing the kids play pickup games. What do they think about ultimate?
They are really curious about it, and especially the people passing by there. And I mean, and I can see in their faces that they are happy, because instead of um drinking, smoking, or doing some vices, they just playing there. Even me, I'm happy for them, because instead of doing that, they playing 3 p.m. until dawn. So yeah, before and after that, they're playing. Of course, they're exhausted, and they're just going to sleep. And yeah, and I'm happy for the community here in Boracay itself, because I didn't really expect that. I think it's already 8 or 10 teams here in the island, so that's really huge. So yeah. If you saw my birthday tournament last year, I didn't really expect that we have so many kids playing over there. So I I didn't in, accommodate them all, because I didn't expect that we have a huge number already. So I was happy.
That's so cool. What do you think is the future of ultimate on Boracay? Just all these teams and all these kids. Like, us old folks have to watch out, because all these kids are going to be playing and better than us.
Yes, I think not involving the budget, just only the the playing. I think we have the potential to win in the worlds in the future with these kids. They have really a lot of potential. I can see for the future.
That's amazing. And speaking of kids, David, who's that?
Yeah.
This is called Maya. She just came in the room, closed the door so her mom wouldn't follow. And now she's just chilling with us.
Hi, Maya.
Maya, look.
The fans with Andrea and Maya.
So she's just playing with the mouse right now because she likes playing with the mouse.
The mouse is very exciting.
Yeah. She'll probably close the window eventually.
All right, let's keep rolling.
These guys know beach ultimate. You know, it's what they do. They're beach ultimate players.
Talented newcomers to the team include Kiboy and Kim Kim, and a birth of foreigners including me, and ultimate trainers Tim Morrill and Alex AJ Jakowski. To us, the talent represented by the Dragons is apparent in players like Mai, Pinoy, and Jeffrey, who constantly impress at practice along with the rest of the team.
We are born in the island, and I think it's in us already to play in the beach. We have all the discipline in the team, and we're all listening. And that's my dream, to become part of the worlds from the beach. It's my #1 dream to join with the Dragons.
We'll talk about this at some point later on too in a future episode, but what's really cool is this episode really started this chain reaction of events that, you know, were all kind of featured in this episode too, just talking about the worlds and competing there, the connection between myself and Tim and AJ and Picon, doing all these other trips. So it's just really cool that this happened to be the start of something that had all these other events later down the line.
Perhaps also fitting is the support the Dragons get from Boracay itself.
Bar owners, hotel owners, sailboats, kiteboard instructors.
They pretty much own this island. Staying at the Casa Pilar, it's essentially the team's clubhouse. Like right after they all go and have dinner at this place, and everything's free. They, you know, as long as you're a Dragon, so they'll make you free mango shakes, banana shakes.
This is your food.
Thank you.
A lot of chicken.
Chicken time.
That food was fantastic. I mean, Picon, anything to say about the wonderful meals that we got to enjoy?
Say it again.
Anything to share about the meals that we got to enjoy?
Oh, the meals were amazing. Especially there was that time when we did the elbow to elbow fighting. What was it called?
Yeah, we're gonna see it in a second. Boodle fight.
You remember that one? What was it?
Cockfighting.
I don't know. It was fun.
Boodle fight, yeah.
The boodle fight, yeah, the boodle fight.
Yeah,
It was
boodle
just
fight.
very, very good food on the table, and you had to fight out to get some.
And we'd get like mango shakes all the time. All these
Protein shakes after every training. It was we were treated very well.
Gravy, right?
And then Ben also is a DJ at a bar, so we get, you know, free drinks at the bar all night.
It's a community that recognizes how good the team is and what we do for Boracay.
Even the mayor of Boracay is the brother of a team member and an avid supporter of the Dragons. To say that the Dragons run deep into the fabric of Boracay may even be an understatement.
All walks of life, different types of people, just having one thing in common, ultimate.
Sorry to interrupt again, but Picon, you know what that clip reminded me of for a second was this plan that we had. And I don't know if Mai are aware of this plan, but for the first 3 episodes, at least for the first 2 episodes, we thought it would be a cool idea, or at least I thought it would be a cool idea. Picon probably thought it was a bad idea, but I thought it would be a cool idea to shoot these like music videos in each location to like create some sort of like promotional piece, just like some fun social media piece where I was lip syncing to different songs. And we filmed, I couldn't tell you what song we did.
We did like a very corny song, and it was filmed in Casa Pilar. We did it underwater in the swimming pool. He was lip syncing in the swimming pool. doing like backflips in the swimming pool, bubbles, it was very fun. I had fun with it too, yeah. Too bad you never had the guts to like put it out there, man.
The guts. I think honestly,
Courage.
It was more that I was like exhausted from editing the episode that I was just like, I need a break from editing stuff. But it probably had to do with I probably didn't think it was. I thought I was probably embarrassed by it. And we filmed the second one on a sailboat in New Zealand. And after that, I think we stopped filming them. We're just like, I don't think we're going to keep doing this. But it was a fun idea for whatever screwed up thing in my brain thought it was a good
idea. You should edit those out, man. You should just put them out. Yeah.
Just put them out now at like 6 years later.
On and off the screen, so really cool.
It is this surrounding feeling of welcome that creates a wonderful sense of family among the Dragons. This sense has made us foreigners feel much at home on the island.
They eat together, they play together, they've got each other's backs, and they're very good to guests. They've just welcomed us in as part of the family.
This is the Filipino Bodol fight. Everyone will stand on the sides and eat with one hand. And,
what do you do with the other hand?
Box out everyone.
1, 2, 3, go! Dragons! Come on, let's eat!
Wendell Go, the Dragons coach, is a prime example of the Dragons' diversity. An event planner and fitness guru who became fixed on Ultimate. Wendell leads the team in drills and the training of young Dragons like me.
There's a lot of running, there's a lot of sprinting. So the idea is, if you're on defense, when offense stops for a second.
Mai, you have something to share?
Yeah, and this episode, like his teaching, that's why I like him doing that, because if you really want to improve your skills in frisbee, because as I noticed, some of the players, if coach doing some kind of pointers like that, some of the players are not interested. So yeah, I hope some of the players, if coach doing that, they should listen, because yeah, coach said earlier that it's not easy to coach and to play. It's your energy is it's draining. And yeah, it's only few of coach doing like this stuff to focus on the players. So yeah.
I think that's a great point, that some of the drills that you'll run, they may seem like they're really simple, just making certain cuts, but like some of those drills are critical in teaching fundamentals, and you have the opportunity to like really work on stuff. I think that's something that Wendell did really well, was focus on some of those fundamentals and create drills that expose those opportunities. I think Maya agrees.
Yeah, she's like all about Ultimate.
She's like, totally.
Yes, force. Talking about
that energy, and then move faster than the offensive player. So my training system is basically based on that. It's recovery. I would always use the term recovery. It's a recovery training program. So I just use nature, water as my natural weights.
Wendell is also a Kali knife fighting instructor. He was happy to show us some skills after practice one day.
It started actually years way back, and even during the time of the Spaniards, when they invaded us 300 years ago. So before Spain invaded us, the families at that time, they have their own style. So it depends on the livelihood of the person. If the person is close near to the water, to the sea, basically like the fisherman, their strikes are closely related to what they're doing. But for Filipino culture, the blade is not just used for fighting, it's also used for livelihood. I will try to show you something. Okay, so some of the drill.
I'm gonna stab Dada here, and then we'll. This whole segment, like, I don't remember exactly how much of a plan we had going into film this episode, or if it's just like, because like
we had no plan.
A real series, not that ours isn't real, a formal production, like everything's planned out in advance, and there's usually little room for like being able to pivot and like film new things. But like, maybe we had some ideas of like, oh, there's like a great place to get a massage and we'll feature that. Or kiteboarding could be a cool thing if we could feature that. Actually, there was a whole kiteboarding segment we started filming, but we weren't able to film the whole segment, so it didn't end up in this episode. But like, we were so lucky to kind of just run into ideas of people suggesting like, oh yeah, Wendell could do a little bit of knife fighting stuff. We'll film that. Oh, let's film kiteboarding, or let's film a boodle fight. Like, these are things that just kind of organically came up or were suggested by people that just were like, they wanted to support us so generously and showcase things that were available to you on the island, or showcase things that people did. And for most of the episodes, that's kind of how it went. Like, we would try to like brainstorm as much as we could about things you could do, but it was kind of fluid, and Picon was someone that could work in that way. Any comments about that?
Yeah, I think it was kind of like a very exciting adventure we were on. We just got there, and we're just soaking in the culture and the personal lives out of everyone that we were getting to know, right? And we were just like letting that flow. We met Gabby, and she was like, well, we can like treat you to some massages, and that's how we ended up going to the really nice massage place. It was my first massage ever. I think it was the best. I've only had two, but it was the best. And then, yeah, I do knife fight. Okay, let's shoot a little bit about that. I do this. Okay, let's shoot a little bit about that. And we're just like, letting the environment decide the course we were taking. We're just like, I think it was a little bit more free, or a little bit more flexible in the terms of filmmaking. And I think
that's how it is here in general. Like, I used to go crazy because I come from the States. I'm a strength conditioning coach where I had my 6
want everything like planned out.
Yeah, everything was planned out. And here it's like athletes would show up late and their things would get changed, the practice would get changed, and nobody's texting. And I would go crazy. At first, I'm like, I cannot be here. This, like, nobody cared. I thought that nobody cared about training because of the lack of clocks and cell phones and stuff. But the longer that I'm here, the more that I appreciate it. Like, I love what today was. Like, I did not expect to run aerobic power intervals and throw hucks with Rolly and these people that I threw hucks with for 30 minutes today. And then I had 2 elite athletes run aerobic power intervals with me. I did not expect to run that with anybody beside myself. I expected to run aerobic power intervals 3 days ago, but we had a big group jam and we ended up doing more speed and agility disc skills drills. So we ran that out, and they were like, let's postpone aerobic power intervals. Everything just kind of goes, the clock is very different here, and things are very different, and it's a strength and it's a weakness. But more and more, I'm finding it can actually be a strength if you can learn to work around it.
Yeah, I think something like Boracay, in addition to just being a perfect place in general for us to start, that lifestyle and that approach fit really well with our production, and probably taught us something about how to roll with those punches and, take advantage of what opportunities we had. that approach of just kind of seeing what we could find, like I think we kind of got to the point where it's like, let's film as much as we can, let's try to do as much as we can, and I mean,
we'll figure it out later.
Yeah, and we'll figure it out in the editing room. Just like, let's get as much of the experience as we can figure out. Let's get whatever the team suggests to us. We did some interesting things like in New Zealand, I remember in the next episode. We're just like, all right, let's just figure it out and see what we could find. And I don't know.
Google interesting shit to do in Auckland.
Yeah.
And it was like, jump off a building. Okay, let's go there.
Gosh.
I'll jump.
We'll talk about that in the next episode.
Just a preview.
Yeah, I didn't really want to jump off the building, but for the episode, I was willing.
It was mandated.
And yeah, it's up to the audience to decide if we created enough interesting content. But yeah, we definitely just tried to find things that were interesting and create something fun. And for a show with little ability to plan and little budget, I think we did all right.
Those basic drills basically will start from the diagonal strike. Okay, my movement is like one, and then I follow.
It's so funny. I love this guy.
You couldn't even like sometimes see the knife anymore.
What's so funny about this?
Wendell is so funny, man. What do you mean?
It's just
remember the white towels.
Like the dynamics are just so funny. And Wendell's he just cracks me up because every time I talk to him, it's like, dude, he had me captivated by the way he's training these 5-year-old DJs. Like he's like, this is this new thing. He's training DJs that are like really young, like elementary school DJs. And when he explains it, he's just such a good teacher and he's such an intellectual that it makes me like crack up laughing. Well, it's like, who else does that? Like, who else lives on an island and teaches knife fighting and beach ultimate frisbee and teaching people to be DJs? I think it's so fun. I just love it. It makes me laugh with happiness.
Yeah, I don't think anyone else does that. I think Wendell's the only person.
It's just like 1 in 100 million.
Yeah.
It's just making me really happy. It's just so funny to watch. Just like Wendell, because we argue a lot too. Because I'm like, Wendell, what the hell are you talking about? He's like, what, Tim? What the hell are you talking about? And he's just an intellectual with training. So we kind of, we have our battles. And seeing him doing knife fighting, it's just funny to me. It's just funny. Go on, get past this scene.
Yes, and walk out. Yeah, yeah, good. Yeah, bam, scoop, and walk away. Yes, I'm a Cali.
Leave him dead and bleeding.
That's what you need is a scoop.
In Boracay, I usually bring my student on their last day to cockfighting, and that's the closest way for me to explain what is Cali all about.
Yes, cockfighting. Though controversial outsider, cockfighting is a national pastime in the Philippines.
This was not a section that was Picon approved. And,
no, I hated this.
Granted, like,
I think everybody skipped over this part because it's like, what?
Why are we doing this?
Yeah, I mean, I think
poor little cocks.
It's not something that I'm personally a fan of either, but it's just so important to, I think, a lot of people on the island and in Filipino culture that I thought it was something that we should shoot. I don't know, Mai, what's your take on cockfighting?
I don't know, maybe because the people used to be the cockfighting to be their jobs, their living, but no. But for me, I don't like cockfighting.
Yeah.
Yay, Mai. I like you more now.
It makes my heart broken. You're making the the chickens, or it's some like the pit bull fighting like that.
Right.
It's
Yeah, that's horrible too.
yeah. I
Have
don't like cockfighting. I know. I hope someday they were going to remove or vanish that in the Philippines or anywhere in the world.
yeah, and I
It's kind of
know.
like
I was just gonna say, I know there have been some efforts to ban it in certain places, and I was curious, Mai, if you had any impression of our perspectives changing when it comes to cockfighting. Are people starting to be like, yeah, we don't want to do this anymore?
No, I think there's still a lot of people want to do it.
Yeah.
I think especially here in the Philippines, I don't think no one likes to stop the cockfighting because there's a lot of money in cockfighting. Maybe that's what they want. They don't care about the chicken or you know
Yeah.
everything. They just care about the money. No. Yeah.
Picon, what were you going to say?
Yeah, I was going to compare it to bullfighting here in Spain, which is also like a national pastime, was a national pastime. And in some areas, it's already been banned. And for example, here in Catalonia, there was a big arena, which was very close to where we were training. And they turned that into a mall because they banned bullfighting. And I think it has to do a lot with new generations feeling that it's not something that they're proud of or that they approve or they can back up. And it's more like the older, the more classical people, more conservative people, they're the ones clinging on to this culture. And there are some parts where they're still doing it, but I think it's dying, and it has to do with a lot of young people being, more like morally aware of what damage you're doing to animals, and it's just not right. I mean, we're already eating them. I mean, do we also have to churches them?
Yeah.
Like, it's terrible, and it's for fun, it's it's just to watch and laugh, and at least well, I'm not gonna get into like the whole eating for needs, because that's actually also like not necessary, but it's way worse if you're just doing it for kicks. Well, that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, in the US, like, we've got rodeo still in a lot of places where bulls are being abused, or horses might be abused in certain places, but yeah, people sort of cling on to these these representations of their history, which when a lot of people in the world, and certainly in America, have very fragile egos, and they want something that gives their lives meaning, and they have these ideas of, this is what it means to be me, this is what it means to be an American, or to be a Filipino, or to be but once these things go away, very few people seem to like remember them or care about them anymore. They're like, yeah, it's not a thing anymore, but we're fine. You find a new thing that maybe doesn't involve abusing animals. So I don't know. I understand why people like to hold on to these sorts of things, but you don't miss it when it's gone.
We should make gladiators come back, just put a bunch of people in the ring, bunch of swords and like hammers and whatever, blocks of wood with nails, and just let them destroy each other.
Let them, as long as you're gonna do something like
Put
it.
some politicians in there, some from the blue side, from the red side. Let's just let them bash it out.
Put your
Watch
money
some heads flying.
Yeah.
Whoever wins gets control.
Yeah, that sounds like a good way to do things in Picon's world.
In a Sunday afternoon tradition. On our day off, we joined Lester, a friend of the team, to visit a cockfighting arena and find out what it's all about.
So we are on our way to check out some cockfighting.
Sorry to interrupt again, but these shots in this moped vehicle these are some of my favorite shots in this episode. They just feel so like fun, and there's great movement and framing, and then Lester as well was like subtly hilarious throughout this whole section. So just wanted to say that.
Which is a national pastime in the Philippines and also in Boracay. Les, what can you tell us a bit about cockfighting and what we're about to see?
Well, if it's your first time, it's not for the faint of heart, but you'll get used to it after a few fights. It's something that is being done every Sunday afternoon in communities around the country.
In the ring, also known as a cockpit, trainers first warm the cockpit. This gets the game.
We didn't include I know. We didn't include any real like violence or anything. Like that was the worst you see in this episode. Cause like I remember that was like one thing that we're just like, well, we're not gonna show any brutality or anything like that.
Is it really called the cockpit? Or you just made that up?
I think it is called the cockpit.
Yeah, that's the
I don't
cockpit.
think so, man. You made it up.
No. It's called the cockpit.
I do have to say that during the filming, yeah, I was a little against it, but Elliot and Lester with their talk and going back and forth, and the few jokes they made it a little bit more lighter.
Yeah,
it was a lighter side of the horrible thing that we're about to watch.
Right.
Cock's angry and ready to fight. One cock from each trainer is then put into the ring, where the cocks attack each other until one of the cocks passes out, is critically injured, or less frequently, is killed. Oh, and by the way, each one of the cocks has a 3-inch long blade attached to the leg to make the fight extra competitive. Around the stadium, bets are being taken on which cock will win just before the match. Money is thrown to bookies who take and distribute it to winners. Experts can tell just by the way the rooster...
That was Jeffrey showing us how it's done, how booking was done, because that's something he, I guess, did at some point. Used to be a bookie.
Walk which cock they're going to put their money on.
Okay, so Lester, do they ever do like tag team cockfighting where they tag in a teammate?
No.
Like cock tag or something?
Yeah, it's only one cock at a time.
Is there ever like a cock that drops from the rafters in the middle of a fight? Up with a steel. No.
That's fucking ridiculous.
Or you lose. It's always 1-1. Yeah. Mad Max style. Yeah. 2 men enter, one cock leaves.
Head to head.
Okay. One cock at a time.
Yeah, and Lester throws in that head-to-head comment too, which I didn't even pick up on at the time, but so funny.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
As Wendell shared, fighting is part of Filipino history. Though to many, cockfighting is seen as a brutal sport, to some Filipinos it is perhaps a way to hold on to that fighting spirit. A spirit that allowed them to free themselves from Spanish rule. Ultimate Globe Trotter.
Do you like this one better or the one in your background? They're both really good. Yeah.
Both. I like both.
This one is nicer to me.
By the way, can I print that on a canvas? Is it okay?
Yeah. Do you need the files or do you have?
Yeah. If I can have it. So
yeah. All right.
Great.
Email me and I'll send you the files.
Okay. Thank you. Yes.
Can you make one of me?
Sure. All right.
You really should have one, Picon. That's something everybody should know. Picon on video is a great Beach Ultimate player. Absolutely great Beach Ultimate player. And he's a Boracay Dragon. Everybody should know that.
Yep. Yeah,
But I want one with the camera. I don't want one plain Ultimate.
You want one with the camera?
Because that's what I was doing during Ultimate Globetrotter.
All right.
Maybe both. Can you give me like with the camera and the first beat?
All right, that's a lot. Oh, you want both? Or you want two different ones?
Like
Put a
no, I
lollipop
want
in his
in the
mouth.
same thing, like
Oh,
everything,
Okay.
everything.
All right. We'll
Everything
make
in
it.
one.
I'm gonna work that out.
All right.
What was I gonna say? It slipped my mind. What did you say a second ago, Tim? Oh, Picon's a great Ultimate player. So speaking
no.
when we were in Barcelona in 2018 for Copa Tonga, I remember I picked up with Picon in some random game, and I actually remember, like, we only played a few points, but I remember being really impressed with Picon in those couple points. And I don't know if I told you that, Picon. Probably not.
No.
I wanted you to feel bad about yourself.
Yeah, I know. Said, you suck, man. I'm never playing again.
Yeah.
And you just left the team. I'm like, okay. That's a nice way to leave.
No,
You all suck.
I don't think I said that.
Did we win that game?
Yeah, we did, I think.
Oh, cool.
But I remember being really impressed with you. So you are a great Ultimate player.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Makes me feel so nice.
So, all right. So I made a mental note that we got to get Picon his picture. Okay.
All right.
We just finished our last Dragons practice, and we found out we're about to be initiated into the Dragons, but not before finishing one last Iron Dragon circuit in the water, on land, laying out for discs, push-ups, sprints. It's all going to be right out in front of us. We just need to take it before being initiated into the Dragons family. I'm glad that's over, but I'm even more glad to be officially a dragon. Spit hot fire!
What do you think about this, Picon?
I just want to say something just to like save a little face about this footage because it's all overexposed. I didn't have the camera. They asked me to do the circuit as well. And I was doing the circuit and someone else was shooting. That's why it's all overexposed.
Yeah.
It wasn't me.
Ultimately, that was sort of the nature of the beast, though. Like, we'd have to deal with all sorts of different conditions and lighting setups and sound issues, and the camera was having some problems. The first
the lenses had some like fins and it wouldn't zoom well. I mean, then we changed cameras. When we changed cameras, it was better.
Yeah, no, but there was a lot of like, this is what happens when you have a production with like no budget, is you got to figure out how to make it work. And I think from a storytelling standpoint, that's what's important. And the story, and I think we were pretty successful for most of it. But yeah, even this footage, like, although it was a little overexposed, it still told the story it needed to tell. And this circuit was exhausting. I mean, I feel like after all this, I was probably close to being in the best shape of my life. But yeah, that was a blast.
Now sufficiently exhausted, it was time to relax and mentally prepare for the Boracay Open tournament just days away. Abhi was kind enough to treat us to a trip to Mandala Spa and Villas for a recovery massage.
This is like, well, two things I want to say. This is like the product placement, product integration in a awesome way. Mandala was able to provide this for us, but also as a really cool segment to just show like some of the things that were on the island that available to people. But this sort of set the stage for doing a cool product integration. But I'd also call your attention to, if you could see my back there, I am like totally sunburned because like we'd play and practice in the sun and train all day, and I could never put enough sunscreen on, and I got pretty sunburned and some on my back.
And you're ripped.
Yeah, and just totally yoked.
We're here at Mandala Spa and Villas, about to receive an awesome world-class massage, courtesy of the Boracay Dragons. So, let's get massaging.
Mandala really opens our doors to athletes for deep body work and just for relaxation. Mandala has really provided a lot of those therapies to our players. And if you've experienced it, you know what I would mean. It's just really something else.
Something that was funny about this was they had Picon and I do like a couples massage. And Picon was like, wanted to, film me getting a massage. So we got some of this footage, but they're like, no, you're here to relax. So we ended up like filming on a model. As you'll probably be able to tell, it's not my back. We're filming getting massaged. But yeah, they were like, no, Picon, you got to chill. That's what they said to Picon. They're like, Picon, you got to chill here too.
I fell asleep. It was pretty good. It was my first massage ever. I just fell asleep.
Mai, have you been here?
No.
No.
Yep.
Okay.
So a lie. They told everyone was doing it.
They said everyone was going there.
Now we know. But this isn't you.
No, that wasn't me.
I forgot that. I forgot all about this. I was so relaxed.
Yeah.
I didn't remember actually that it wasn't you.
Yeah. No, that wasn't me.
Ultimate Globe Trotter.
Dada. This is another thing that we abandoned eventually, was this whole like sequence of like gearing up for a tournament. Like you put the gear on, you put on the eye black. It was kind of like to like set the stage, but it ended up being like, I don't know. I felt it was not authentic. I don't know. Picon, did you like this part of the series? I don't know.
I thought it was comical.
Comical. Oh, so you thought it was a big joke?
No, I thought it was kind of like, like a comic, like a superhero comic.
Oh yeah. Not humorous, but also.
Well, I don't know how you would say it, but yeah, like a comic. It was, those zoom in into and really fast cutting. I liked it.
Yeah, that was sort of the part that trying to tell that story and like just really create a serialized or like a feel to the series that had some consistency. So like same thing with the different illustrations. The illustration stuck around, this part didn't, but yeah, I think each episode sort of became a little bit different eventually.
Yeah, maybe if we would have shot it a little better, I don't know.
Maybe
there was something we could do like to make it more aesthetic and.
Yeah, I think ultimately, like at some parts too, like it just didn't fit in the way that we were telling the story. It would have felt like really weird to just like cut to this sequence. But it was fun for the first couple episodes.
Finally, it was time for the Boracay Open, a chance for the Dragons to challenge themselves for the first time this season.
This tournament is part of our training program.
Special tournament. It brings prestige for us.
Winning is always important. It gives pride, the bragging rights.
The throws have to be more concise. The stalls at 6.
I'd rather lose the tournament, but see my teammates, my players, improving.
Teams from all over the world descend on the island for this annual 3-day tournament. It is known for its competitive atmosphere and parties, a mainstay of Boracay culture.
Best tournament in Asia by far.
Tons of fun games, great spirit.
It's a great sense of community, friends with a lot of like the players here in the Philippines, and everyone's just here to have a good time, which is sort of what Frisbee's about, hey?
All the party footage was definitely shot by Picon, by the way.
Yeah. I don't remember that.
I know you don't remember.
I wasn't there. I was sleeping early.
No,
every single night.
I was so exhausted most nights after playing that I could not stay up. But Picon, in typical Picon fashion, was able to like get all the footage and party and then film the next day and play a little bit too. And like, I don't know how you did it.
Before you had kids.
Yeah, probably that's it.
Fascinating tournament I've ever been to. It's like a mixture for Europeans between Paddlepage and Pagadelo. Pagadelo for the level maybe, and Paddlepage
for the fun.
For the parties.
Really for the fun.
The seas, the sand, the sunsets, the mango shakes, the food, everything is awesome.
It's an amazing tournament. It's one of my favorites. I come every year. I try to. Yeah. I try to come every year.
Runs so well. When you watch them play, it feels like there's one mind.
They're incredible. I've played against them a few times and like smooth the disc so quickly, they're so fast, and like they just know what everyone's doing at the same time, and so it's just free flowing movement the whole time.
Those are great interviews, by the way. Like I think at that point I just told Picon, I'm like, yeah, go get some interviews, go ask some people about a few things, and you just like, yep, okay, just shot these like great interviews on the fly. Like, yeah, I don't know.
And some of those people that I met people from Europe. I was gonna say, like, the couple, they're still friends with me now. Like, we were invited to the wedding. Like, I mean, people that I met there, and we just like developed a lasting friendship.
Yeah.
I met them again in Dubai, and we partied again, and they live in France, and then they were coming to Copatanga. She would stay here. I mean, it was just like start of many stories, many personal stories. It's kind of like the same way that happened with Tim. Like, we met there. It was the first time we meet each other. We hung out, and suddenly, like, over the years, we also developed, a friendship. He's come here. He's stayed here. He's like slept with my dog, and
family, baby.
We miss you,
family.
man.
Yeah, well, I can't wait till you come visit me here.
That's definitely in the bucket list.
As we had in practice, the Dragons split themselves into two squads for the first time at this tournament. Dragons Black and Dragons Red. We're on Black, while AJ found himself as the resident tall guy on Red. Now it was game time. The Dragons were quickly off and running, with Dragons Black proving their dominance and speed against a Filipino team, Mulatto, followed by a team of Chinese expats.
That was something that was so fun, is that, the fields, I don't know if the tournament ended up like moving at all, but like the fields for most of the fields for the tournament, like the edge of one of the sides sloped down.
It was a slope, yeah.
Yeah. And so sometimes you'd like lay out and like land in the water, and it was pretty fun.
Then you would also like have times where you were running up a slope, and you would think, I'm getting to this, but no, because you're slower because it's on a slope.
Yeah.
Or even throwing. I remember throwing like an inside break to AJ from the low side. It
completely
just hit
normal. It's normal.
And it hit the ground. It just hit the ground. I thought it was perfect.
It's just normal, right, Mai?
What's that, Coach?
It's just normal. It's if you play at Casa Pilar, that's where you want to have the tournament, then that's where you're gonna have to deal with. And it's an extra challenge, but it's just a challenge. It's like,
yeah, you have to get used to it.
We're not gonna move the tournament.
Yeah. And first time playing a couple of how many years I landed in the water for the first time last year because of the slope.
So this is where the premier tournament is always going to be. Station 2, Mai? Station 2, like right in the middle. But the 5-on-5 tournaments are going to be way down the beach, and they can be a little bit wider. But it's an island, so it also depends on the tide.
Yeah,
but almost always.
Yeah, but our concern is I'm not sure, but because the organizer's concern is the permit and the hotel in front of the beach if we're going to do the field. So there's a lot of process to do, but because in Casapilar it's already it's Sir James Place, so we don't worry about anything else except the permits. If we're going to do it in another area, probably it will take long, like preparing for worlds like that.
Yeah, I mean, but John is no longer mayor. James' brother John is no longer the mayor of the island. I do like Puka Beach for 5-on-5, but to get to Puka Beach is like the far north end of the island, and it's very wind exposed. That's why, like on this, like I live on Balabog now, so it's just constant wind. Yeah. So if we go out here and try to play beach ultimate, it's going to be really hard. You got to be a very talented player. And then you go up to the point of the island where Puka Beach is. It's almost always very windy and very deep sand. And so, there's been tournaments there before, but I can't imagine a 4-on-4 tournament there. Like this area right here in the middle of Station 1 and 3 is like the ideal place for it, even though there's a little bit of a slope in the sand.
It's like, it's like in tennis. You've got your clay courts, and it's a little bit different, but you just got to get used to it. And some people become the best on those courts, like Rafael.
Right.
Up here.
Our first challenge.
Elliot Trotter.
Oh, that wasn't me.
Bolstered by the
That wasn't me.
Looked like you. It's okay.
talented Kat Phillips and Tom Cupcake Toulette, calling themselves the Boracay Dragons. What the Dragons lacked in comedic inspiration, they made up in skill and knowledge of the game.
This was our first exposure to Cupcake as well.
No, mine was 2 days before, but go on.
Cupcake is a theme of the whole series as well. He shows up in the episode, the Australian episode, as like the villain. He shows up in the Ragnarok episode at Worlds as a villain as well. Definitely the villain in this one. But yeah, maybe at some point we'll flip it around. He'll be join the heroes side.
Let's see.
The first half found the teams trading points, neither able to get an edge.
That dude called a foul on me.
This guy.
That last play, they called a foul on me. I was like, what? You've got to be crazy. It was Will.
Let's look at it again. Look at it again.
Will called a foul on
first son, something like that, right?
What's that?
The first half found the teams trading points, neither able to get an edge.
All right, let's see. Yeah, that was the play. He called a foul on me.
That's definitely a foul, man.
On me?
Come on, Will. He looks like he's pushing you with your left arm.
Yeah, he used his elbow on Elliot.
Yeah.
That's so clear.
You went into him, man. You could have avoided that. It's your fault.
I didn't call a foul, but he called a foul on me, and I was like, what? Like, if anything, I could call one on you.
Come on, Will.
The throw went way over his head, and he's blaming me that he wasn't in position to get it. I don't think so.
Come on, Will. Does that guy even train? Who knows?
I don't know. I think he may have relinquished the call, but I remember being surprised.
But soon, the fitness of the Dragons pushed through, allowing us to waltz to a lead and the win.
Oh, the dirty spike, my. Did you see that?
Yeah, look at her face.
She just like
She's walking away.
over her shoulder.
It was really competitive, and I didn't know that I nearly hit Cat Phillips. I'm sorry about that.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
That's
just
not that's a bad move. I'm sorry.
yeah, it's all right. I mean, I think everyone understood you're in the moment, and yeah, it's a funny thing to have captured on video.
Go undefeated on day 1.
Doesn't even look back.
Day 2 opened with crossover. That meant
Yeah, it's some kind of a bad spirit. I didn't even high five Cat.
That's all right. I'm sure everyone's over it now.
I learned.
Dragon teams against each other. Though the result merely affected who was the number 1 and number 2 seed.
Oh, look at that matchup.
That's a foul, man.
Yeah,
Coach.
Come on, AJ.
It's a little sexy foul.
Yeah.
AJ's a sexy man. Look at that. Come on. How can you not be? You got to foul that kind of guy.
Just another opportunity.
Jeffrey, what are you doing, Jeffrey? Come on.
That lost us the game.
As we had in practice, Dragons Black prevailed.
Well, Clyde used to play. Kaboy used to play.
What do you mean lost you? What do you mean lost you the game? You see that scoreline for count 13-9.
It all started there. If he had caught that goal, it would have been 13-12 our side.
All right. I don't remember exactly, but all I remember is the scoreline here. We got the evidence.
I think you changed that, man.
No.
I think it was closer. I think it was Universe Point.
These are all accurate.
Oh, the trash talk. Here comes the trash talk, and we still got 8 minutes left. Oh my gosh.
He has the power to do this kind of stuff to change history.
Revisionist history, yeah. I'm pretty sure I would do research on all the scores. The same way I would vet everyone's names to make sure the names are accurate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is on YouTube. If you just Google Wendell Go, it's it's on YouTube.
Oh yeah, sure, that makes sense.
Quarterfinals matchup against Toronto, Canada's Max Power saw Dragons Black again showing their dominance on the beach.
Oh, now I understand. That was the first game. Then we played the second. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. The final was a little bit closer for sure, but my team was definitely in control of that. We'll get to it. Toronto's Max Power, some of the folks on that team are really nice and reached out a lot about it. Ben made this baller play right.
Victories in the quarters saw both Dragon teams into the semifinals, where Black's opponent and Australia's Boracay Dragons were waiting. After a night's rest, the Dragons prepared for our semifinal games with the same warm-up routine we had each morning, as if to instill a sense of familiar confidence in our training. The Dragon skill had led them to again match up against Dragons Black. The Australians entered the tournament with the expressed purpose of defeating the Dragons on home turf and ending their decade-long reign as champions. Again, the Dragons showed their skills to keep the early stages of the game close. But the Verakian training, strengthened by the astonishing play of Pinoy and Mai, rocketed Dragons Black into the finals.
Yeah, Mai was just torching everybody on the field, just like
she was on fire. She's always on fire, but that game was incredible.
Yeah,
like if I'm in the field, I don't think the word we're using that we don't give mercy to anyone. If we could finish it early, we're going to finish it.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I like that.
That was like everybody was like, you could see from some of the shots, like it was a physical game. Like everyone was putting their bodies out there, like trying to get an edge on that disc. Like, nothing was given. I think Wendell, if I remember correctly, really like pumped people up and said stuff like that. Like you can't give them an inch.
Yeah.
And this was going to be our big challenge because, we were expecting to face the other team in the final, and we knew that AJ and Picon were on that other team, so it wasn't going to be a problem.
Don't speak. I don't know. Those are good players.
This game was close though. This other semifinal.
Yeah. That was, I think, Universe Point with the longest call ever made. Like it was 20 minutes.
This team is so funny because of Gunther and Derek and this whole Dunkin' Donuts, Boracay Open kind of thing. It's just weird because there was a little bit of a period that I missed. Like, I don't know what happened with the Dragons and James and Gunther and Derek and all this stuff to create this. And Mai, like you were on this other team. Like there was this big disconnect between the Dragons and then the Boracay Ultimate and then the Boracay Pirates. And then it's going to come back around to probably Pirates and Dragons, but Dragons were kind of the OGs. So it's just weird how this team came about. Like, what is this? Why are you wearing Dunkin' Donuts? What kind of team is this?
I don't know what Junter's thinking about that. Maybe it's Derek's plan, I guess. Derek want to be also a Boracay Open champion, but he can't.
Derek Ramsey, by the way, like such an interesting thing about Ultimate, like who ends up playing. Like Derek Ramsey, basically like this international superstar and incredible movie star in the Philippines. He's also like part of the Ultimate culture there too. Is he still playing? Obviously, for the moment, things are on hold, but is Derek still playing Ultimate?
Yeah, I think he's still playing Ultimate. But I think for now he's focusing on golf, he said.
Okay. Pulling a Brody Smith then.
Yeah. Maybe you're going to follow Brody Smith next. I think his next is going to do the disc golf.
Yeah.
I don't know.
all the all these big celebrities, they all think alike. They get into disc golf, they get into regular golf and Kabbalah, and pretty soon it's like a pyramid scheme. So we got to watch out, but they all do the same thing.
Well, Derek Ramsey watches every one of my Insta stories, which makes me think that he's interested in coming back here and training. I don't always check that, but when I do check, it's like Derek Ramsey, which is good because he's interested and he trained with us in the past. And he's a good athlete. He's a good Ultimate player. So I'd love to have him back. I think he's passionate. I think he loves the work I think that the work that he does in the Ultimate community transfers to his bigger mission of helping the Philippines be just the best it could be. So I think he's one of those players that even though he's like a Tanduay, like let's support Tanduay Ram and whatever, like I think he's done a lot to bring eyes to the Ultimate community. And I think he's done it in a way that is just really good. I really support Derek. I like him a lot.
He's also one of the players that make Ultimate Frisbee known in the Philippines. Without Derek, I don't know where is Frisbee right now.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, no, Tim, I think we're all really excited to go and train in the Philippines, and it almost happened this year where we returned to the Boracay Open, but the global pandemic delayed those plans. So maybe in 2021 or 2022, we'll be able to do it again.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's use it as a warm up for Humiliswag or even take it to another level. Let's see.
No, it's the next level, man. We're going as the Shitbirds.
The Shitbirds.
Shitbirds, next level.
Oh, this is when we were in New Zealand. I think for whatever reason, Picon and I had lost our minds. Just because of whatever was happening, like everything leading up to that point. And we were sitting around and there was this pigeon that was like clearly the alpha pigeon. And he was just like yapping at all the other pigeons. So he got the nickname of Shitbird and became a underground hero of the series for Picon and I.
Anti-hero.
The anti-hero, yeah. The shitbird.
Well, we won't call Humiloswag the shitbird, but we will have the Humila Dragons.
No.
The Humila Dragons are forever.
We'll add the shitbird subtly to the jersey, just somewhere on a sleeve.
Like in a corner.
Yeah, in the corner.
Okay, we're $10,000 to sign off on that, but you can bring me 10,000. I could use it.
Okay, all right.
Dragons Red tied a game point against another Boracay team, Boracay Ultimate, featuring national celebrity Derek Ramsey. A marathon point discussion ended with a.
I remember I was on the sidelines over there, and AJ is lining up for the cut. And I'm like, "Go deep, AJ, go deep!" And yeah, he toasted his player.
AJ was a hero in this point. Here we go,
Yeah.
AJ.
And too much physical in this point, too much
Yeah.
pushing.
Yeah, there was like a lot of fouling each other. Desperately wanted to win the game.
Yeah.
There was a massive call and like turnover, and like
15-minute talk. Yeah.
Yeah. Finally, this play happens, and you just couldn't argue with it.
Dragon score by AJ, pushing a second Dragons team to the finals. Finals was perhaps a victory lap for the Dragons, who had fought to get both squads there. But just as much, it was one more chance.
Oh, you can see the sunburned sleeve I have on my shoulder there. That's how bad it was. But
You can also see the legend Christian Guerrero.
Oh yeah.
This guy.
Yeah.
Such a savage.
Christian, yeah, he's a superstar player, and yeah, I mean, awesome dude. We didn't feature him a ton in this episode, but like you'll see him in the episode of in Dubai playing as well. The cool twist of Dubai is that we ended up competing against the men's Dragons team. And competing against Christian and I won't spoil what happened in that one, but it was cool to go from teammates to opponents, and along the way just being family in a wider context.
Are you saying that you're joining the Warhawks, Elliot? Is that the point of this? You're joining the Warhawks?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, good. I just making sure. Okay, because you're talking about opponents. Okay.
No, I thought about it actually. The year that we didn't play, I was like, I wonder what would happen if I reached out and just like played for that year. But then things didn't line up, and I was like, I didn't even reach out, I don't think. But
thank the Lord.
The thought occurred to me to do it for that 1 year, but I didn't do it.
Good. Okay, play the video because I'm mad.
2 teams.
Dude, it's all I gotta win. I just wanted to win. You know?
All I do is win. Okay, go on.
Prove itself superior. To witness the Dragons in stride is truly a sight to behold. The ease of movement, the daredevil acrobatics.
Oh, nice D, AJ.
Molded to the last grain of home sand as it leaps and plays, displaying a deep
catching a goal. Wow.
beating heart of the Dragons, alive and well.
My, what a grab.
Crowned world champion.
That was a big.
I was in. Yeah, I was in. It felt good because I was laying out downhill.
Though My Dragons Black would elevate over Dragons Red, both teams of the same family finished as champions.
That was a big grab that we just got out of frame.
Oh, that was my too. Yeah.
The Dragons live the ultimate life. They have the beach, discs, broship, camaraderie, and in a beautiful island to play all day. And I just think that's the ultimate life.
We're not going to World Championship next year being known as the fastest team, but I would say it's a complete package.
Dragons are the beach kings of Asia and maybe the world soon.
This has just been an incredible honor, getting to know everybody, getting to play, and getting to learn.
Blah, 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 blah. I think this is something that we were going to make part of the series 2, like a short clip of me saying something, but it felt too cheesy. It felt, I don't know, it felt unreal. Not that I didn't feel what I said, but it just felt like, I don't know.
It's just because of the words. Like I've learned I have to speak so simply and clearly and so many less words here, which has actually helped me with just my diction in general. Because I want to say so much, but it's just like, I just say less and everybody's cool. Everybody goes home happy. So I think maybe you just use too big of words or something, but I thought it was sweet. I took it to heart. So that's all that matters.
Is that your way of telling me to just shut up and not talk as much, Tim?
No, I mean, I'm telling you, I've learned a lot from being on this island. Like, it's okay to be late sometimes if it's in context. Like, we never know what's going to happen. Like, training Monday through Friday isn't a thing, you know, and if you're going to give a speech, you know, you might want to say less words.
Okay, Tim, thank you. I appreciate it. It's really nice.
But I loved it.
It's uncanny what you're all able to do, and you proved
good boy.
Interpreter.
You all do at the beach championships next year in Dubai.
The 12th annual Boracay Open concludes with the Dragons taking their 11th championship.
Oh, my backflip. Here we go.
That's the end of our time here in the Philippines.
What a cool end to this. What a cool end to this tournament too. Like sun setting beautifully in the background. This is like where the fields were and everyone's surrounding the field. Like this is like classic ultimate, but in a unique Boracayan way. That's just like such a special atmosphere.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Next, we head to Auckland to join reigning champions Magan at the New Zealand National Championship. I'm Elliot Trotter, and this has been Ultimate Globe Trotter.
Ellie, do you still have that? Do you still have that plaque?
I never had it.
I think
maybe AJ has it.
No, the trophy. I think that stayed on the island.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
We went in with 7 guys and 3 girls, thinking we had enough, and we didn't. Like, there's a lot of running, and it's a different sport on sand, hey?
I was on. That was the one.
Go.
Hello and welcome to episode 1 of Ultimate.
Wait, you're not on. Next time on Ultimate Globetrotter.
For the first couple of years of Magan, we just rolled over teams, and it was, you know, nationals was actually pretty straightforward for us. It was business as usual. And now the level in New Zealand has picked up.
How high will I be jumping from exactly?
Well, today you'll be jumping off at 192 meters.
They've got some good skills, and in the last couple of years, I think they set their sights on taking us out.
I think I have no choice at this point.
We've come this far already.
We want to be the best team in New Zealand. We want to be the best team in Australasia, and we want to help build world-class ultimate players.
Hey. Wow. We have a new addition to our video. She had a lot of good things to say. Well, that's it.
Picon knew we wanted to have babies.
That's what I knew.
That was that little kid was just like came in, came out. Yeah. That was cool. that I like that the preview was at the end of episodes. Like that's, you know, we were lucky to have enough foresight that we filmed this next episode. So the trailer at the end was something that I just kind of like threw together without having edited the next episode at all. But most of the trailers came out pretty well, and I love the contrast of that story to what you just saw in the Boracay episode. But okay, we've reached the end of episode 1. Any final thoughts? I know it's getting pretty late in Boracay right now, and the day is just getting started here in Seattle and coming to dinner time in Barcelona. But what other parting thoughts do you all have about the episode, or looking back, or things that have changed? Anything or nothing.
Bye.
I just missed how the Boracay looked like before, and you know, the Boracay Open.
Yeah. It will return again someday to that place of glory.
Yeah.
What about you, Picon? Any
Well,
thoughts?
I loved being in the Philippines. I really want to go back constantly. I'm thinking about going back. Hasn't happened yet, but it's something that will definitely be in the future. I see it. You know, I love the people there. I love the environment, the passion they have for everything they do. You know, passion for playing ultimate, passion for eating good food, passion for partying. You know, like they like do everything at 110%, and I enjoyed it, and they're like so nice at the same time. Like they're the greatest players, and they're really down to earth and nice. I mean, yeah, it's something that really I think changed the way I feel about things nowadays. And yeah, I definitely want to go back and live it again. I hope it soon.
Change the way you feel in what way?
Like how to be, what kind of person to be, what's important in life, you know, because they're all about being really nice to people. And after that, I've been trying to be really nice to people as well, you know, being hospitable and, you know, kind of emulate what I think is the right frame of mind a person should have. And, you know, they also have like this peaceful thing about them, that they're just like, they're about what's around them at the present time. You know, we're playing Ultimate right now, we're just on this, we're, you know, having food right now, we're about this and everything, you know. And they're really good entrepreneurs as well. Like most of the team had like businesses going on, and you know, you could see that they really focus on the thing that they're doing, and they do it well. And I think sometimes modern lifestyle, like big cities, makes you kind of like hectic, you know, to think about multiple things at once, you know, like you're thinking about what you're gonna have for dinner while you're doing your job, while you're thinking about what you're gonna do the next day, and you're not living the moment. And I think being in the Philippines really helped me with that, like with my internal self, I guess.
Yeah, I think, you know, Karen and Ben and James and everyone on the team really taught folks that through their example of just giving and being so supportive to making what we were trying to do something special. And it really comes out in the episode too, because I you know, this was our first attempt at putting something like this together, and it might still be one of the best episodes of the series, which is pretty cool. All right, Tim bro, what are your final thoughts on the episode?
Well, I had a big thing with Ari 2 nights ago about the use of the word bro and stuff, and I don't know if we're gonna go with timber or not, but we'll see. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can get kind of caught on, but yeah, I mean, I think what Picon said really resonates. Like, I've been big time entrepreneur and big time, like, I've just always felt like I'm the guy who has to like empower the ultimate community by actually creating this book and this whole here's the person who has done the most peaks in training for ultimate, who's done this relentlessly and just have thought about it more than anybody. Here's what I've learned. Here's a book. Like, and that's one of the things that I've always wanted to do. And in order to do that, like living in big cities and doing all these workshops around the world and everything that I've done, it's just been constant risk after re-navigating. Hey, you do a peak here. Okay, we need to go to Boston. Okay, we need to go to Ocean City. Okay, we need to go to Florida. Okay, we need to go to Boracay. Okay, we need to go to Portugal, California, Colorado. Like, I've just done so many of these peaks and setting up these peaks in so many different countries around the world. And it's made me sometimes a little scattered. And then when I come to Boracay, it's like a breath of fresh air. It's like, we're here. These are the people we're with, and everything's going to be okay. But we're present. And I think so. Boracay has really taught me presence. And then, like, I've always just been a dog lover, a cat lover. I'm such the kind of person that like takes care of people, and I want to have big. I mean, Elliot, you've been to Ocean City Zen Farm. I've built these Zen farms. I want to be that kind of person that people can come to and can have, just feel supported and have the resources to reach their peak performance. And it's hard to create that in the US. It's possible, but you have to have a lot of funding and stuff. And it's just hard. But like when I come here, it's like, peak performance is possible because we have this like family dynamic. Everybody supports each other. We have good food. Like, so now it's like, I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but it's like, it's me, Mai, Christian, Tiao, and Cyan, like training together. I have automated coconuts. So I have 2 coconuts delivered to me every day. I have a fisherman who lives right down the street that like anytime he's got good fish, he's going to tell me about it. And I'm going to get it at like half of what the market is. I have a tiny little grill out here. Like, y'all went to Mandela Spa, which would probably cost you $2,500 for a massage. I have the best massage therapist I've ever had on the island comes here for 500 pesos. Like, I finally got a lot of things kind of dialed in to reaping the rewards of this island, but it comes down to feeling supported and not feeling crazy. Like, the US and different places have made me feel like my ambition as an ultimate player and as an educator and as somebody who's like trying to do something that's never been done before, like has made me feel like I'm crazy and like I'm betraying my family or like I'm not doing the right thing. And then when I come here, it's just like, this is just what we do. Like we go out and it's around sunset and we play ultimate or we don't play ultimate. Like, we eat together or we don't eat together. Like, it's no stress. There's no like little chippiness, and you don't have to get in a car and commute different places. And I think the consistency of that, especially now with COVID, it's like with Mai and I, like, we know we're going to be able to execute this entire off-season training block, the entire off-season. There's very rarely been that much time that we can actually do that, because everybody needs to go play all these other tournaments and stuff. But it just feels so right. And it feels so like I support Mai with, I try to help with coaching and with the programming, different things. But then she comes right back around and is like, hey, I know you like coffee. Like, here's some coffee that I made. Or, hey, I know your program could use some benefits, so I made you this video. And there's all this, like, we don't have to ask for, like, in a relationship where it's like, I'm going to give you this and you're going to give me this. It's just all karma. It's all love. It's all like, I give, I receive it. If I don't receive, that's fine. Like, because it's all going to come back around. And I love that. I love that I went out today without expecting to see Rolly, who's one of the best ultimate players of all time here, but I just happened to run into him and we happened to throw, and then we're like, hey, Rolly, we're going to run aerobic power intervals in 5 minutes. He's like, cool. And he runs it with us, you know, and he pushes me through these aerobic power intervals because he's more fit than me right now because I'm in the middle of my off season, which is fine. But then it's like, you know, our gym is at Jude's house. Jude gave us that space. You know, the gym, the only reason we still have this gym is because I bought it from Boracay CrossFit. I moved it to that side of the island. Then we moved to the rooftop. And then we moved to this rooftop. And then we got kicked off there. And we moved to there. And without Jude, I wouldn't have had a place to stay. We wouldn't have had a place to put the gym. Without Karen, without Mai, without Cheyenne, without Christian. Like all these things, like everybody just gives to each other. And like, that's all the special part of it. But when it comes to like, just if, excuse me, if peak performance is the goal, then you need to have the resources and the lifestyle. Like I run a business called More Performance. And it's like the whole idea that we start all clients with is there's 4 spheres: nutrition, lifestyle, ultimate skills training, and functional performance training. Where can you integrate all those spheres? Well, we tried in Ocean City. We tried all over the place, but this has probably been the best place that I've found that you can actually integrate all those things. And you can't get any medication here. You can't go to a hospital. I mean, there's little hospitals, but like there's all these things in the US, like, oh, you have ADD, go get a medication. Oh, you're depressed, go get a medication. Like, oh, you have this, you have that. Like here, you can't get anything. Like weed's not even illegal here. It's just alcohol is probably the only drug that you can get on this entire island, which is great because it doesn't give anybody any, it's just, it is what it is. You find your happiness in working hard and having family and having dogs and cats and having the sunlight. And I think that's really special. So I really liked the whole way that's kind of slowed me down and made me really dialed into like family and mutual giving and just this long-term kind of story that we're telling. And that's another reason I think it's so cool that you're kind of going back, because it's one of the, as soon as Ben Wiggins told me the story and like, oh, there's this place. And then there's this song by some band called There Must Be a Place. Forget who sings it. But like that song, There Must Be a Place. There is a place. And like, we've had that place in Ocean City. Like when, you know, Elliot, when you came, it was amazing in Ocean City, but it didn't last. Like here is kind of always going to be there, I feel like. And I want people to know that when they come here, there is a place that you're going to feel supported, and that hopefully the goal is adaptation and being the best version of ourselves and not just partying. But there's always going to be that kind of like, we come here to party, we come here to adapt. And maybe there's a good balance of both, but I just feel very blessed because, you know, it's hard for somebody who just wants to move and build things and be a part of a community and do what I want to do for the ultimate community. It's hard to do that in a big city. And I think I kind of got sucked into that. And now I'm realizing like, wow, there are other ways of living life outside of what the US or other countries say is the right way to live. Yeah. And it's just a good perspective, you know?
Tim, if you didn't like the episode, you could have just said so. Like, I get it. You thought it sucked. So no, that's, I mean, that is something that we found when we were lucky enough to end up in Boracay and film this episode. Is we've made lifelong friends and family, and yeah, it was a formative experience for me, and as all both of you have said, and of course Mai just sharing what that experience is with us and joining us on this journey. And yeah, that just mutual support and giving is such a special thing. So we've got one more thing to do, and that's Mai, remind everybody where they can like your Facebook page. So what's the name?
And her birthday giveaway, right? You got a big birthday giveaway coming up?
Yeah, I have a birthday giveaway. So I have this idea because I can't make the birthday hat tournament. So I just think this ultimate birthday raffle I made. So just like my page, the My Dublin page. So just like and share that I posted there. So then I'm going to make a raffle. Then the winner will get the special prizes of jersey and the hoodie. So yeah,
Yeah.
I
How can I win it? How can I win a hoodie?
yeah,
Do I
you
get it?
just
Like, can I just get it?
no.
Can I just be the winner?
Come here,
I'm going to make
friends,
you
come on.
one. I'm going to make you one if we're going to Spain. If we're not going to deny again.
Just so you know, the hoodies that she makes are sweet. She made me this for my birthday. I guess you can't really see it.
Yeah,
But
a
it
little
says,
bit. Yeah, looks
yeah,
good.
it looks good. It fits good. It's a great hoodie. Double Dragon apparel.
So we have to make sure everyone goes and likes the Mai Dublin on
And
Facebook.
Facebook.
And I'm not sure when we'll get this video out, but hopefully it's before so people could participate in the raffle. And Tim, you still have my pair of shorts somewhere on the island?
Yeah, but I wear them sometimes, and they're
I really
like sometimes. I think I'm gonna have to put them away because you're gonna be pretty upset because the other pairs have kind of like the little sun pieces have started to peel off. So like if I wear yours too much, they're gonna be like it's gonna be like number 7 instead of 77.
I really don't want you to do that. I paid for those shorts. Why don't you just ship them to me?
Because I haven't been able to receive or send any mail here because it's ridiculously expensive, and you run the risk of losing them because we're in the Philippines.
Gotcha. Well, why
So
don't
you send me
go ahead-
some brain octane oil, and I'll send you the shorts, and then we'll
Is
be.
that the trade?
Yeah, I can really use some brain octane oil.
Okay, I know you need brain oil. That's very.
That is totally apparent.
But okay, well, at the very least, stop wearing my shorts. I'd like to have them at some point.
You can send them to me. It's gonna be cheaper to send here.
Yeah.
I'll wear
Well,
them.
so I've talked to James and I've talked to everybody, and it sounds like the safe bet is that the Boracay Open's going to be in June. So let's assume there's a vaccination, the presidency goes through, like everything's fine. January, February, things are looking up. Ultimate resumes, next couple months. So let's just assume that we're going to see you in June.
Okay. I'll plan on
And
that.
we don't know what's going to happen with Beach Nationals and everything, which is a whole nother thing. We could do a whole nother talk about how the Boracay Dragons have helped Team Illuswag, because it's true. They have been a huge influence and help with Bachuk and with the training and with this and that. But yeah, let's best case scenario, we have a big Boracay Open in June.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll talk. We'll get to that story, I'm sure, in a later episode of Ultimate Globe Trotter Rewind. But until then, until June, Tim, I better have those shorts. Better be there when I get there in June. Otherwise, I might. I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'll set.
You got a lot of power, but let me text Dada to print another pair.
I'll set all the brain octane oil in the world ablaze, so you'll never have brain octane oil again.
Don't do it.
That's what I'll do.
What is this brain octane? I mean, now I have to know. What is this oil that you're talking about?
Okay, so you've got a coconut, and there's fat in the coconut, and then they take the fat and they separate it into what's called MCTs.
Why don't you just have a coconut?
Because what's in the coconut is carbohydrate and water.
Coconut, and you'll have what's in it.
We're after fat. We're after brain available fat. And when you have MCT oil, there are 4 different fats in that. And the one that's called C8 is the one that's most bioavailable to the brain. And they mix that with grass-fed organic butter and coffee, and they call it brain octane oil. And it really helps with fasting and with running, energy in ketosis. which is a big part of like losing weight while still being a strong athlete. And it just works for me.
All right, I'm gonna give it a try.
I don't know if you'll be able to find it in Spain. Like the bulletproof diet, like you and Andrea at Google, you would actually really appreciate that. His name is Dave Asprey. And the reason I love him so much is because this dude like got hundreds of millions of dollars.
Hold it right there, Tim.
Okay, it's being made in the United Kingdom. I can definitely find it.
So before we go and plug all of our oils,
all right, I have it.
Let's
They're sending it to me right now.
We'll stop our recording and I'll formally say thank you all so much for spending time remembering and looking forward toward the future, and for being a part of episode 1 of Ultimate Globetrotter. And we'll look forward to hopefully reconvening in Boracay next year.
Well, Elliot, you tell stories and you bring us all together, and we just all love you more than you'll ever know. So thank you for doing this for us as well, even though you don't really accept much accolades. You are a hero, and we appreciate you also.
Thanks, Dan.
Dude, this is like 40 euros for a bottle of 1 liter. What the hell?
I'm going to stop recording, but thank you all so much.
Thank you, Elliot.